Hello students, this is the fourth part of video for chapter number 3 from history. So in the last video we have discussed about the Iqta system and the Mongols attack. So when the Mongols attacked during the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq and as well as Alauddin Khalji. So what are the measures they took when the Mongols have attacked on their kingdom? So here we are going to discuss by comparing both the rulers' region. As you can see, the first point in Alauddin Khalji's part, Delhi was attacked twice in 1299 to 1300 and 1302 to 03. So the Mongols have attacked the Alauddin Khalji's region 2 times. As a defensive measure, Alauddin Khalji raised a large standing army so he can protect his kingdom from the Mongols attack or Mongols army. Whereas on the other hand, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, the Sultanate was attacked in the early years of Muhammad Tughlaq, that we have already covered in the last video. In the early year of his ruling period, he was being attacked, his kingdom was being attacked. The Mongol army was defeated by him. Muhammad Tughlaq was confident about the strength of his army and his resources to plan an attack on Transoxiana. He therefore raised a large standing army. So what does he did? He defeated the army. Then he has gathered the army together to attack on the Mongols. So it was a great step. Here Alauddin Khalji only have taken the defensive measures to protect their region, but Muhammad bin Tughlaq has defeated them and also had a plan to attack the Mongols because he was having a strong army. The same way both raised the standing army. See the second point. Alauddin constructed a new garrison town named Siri for his soldiers. So garrison towns were constructed where soldiers used to settle down to protect the area. Fortified region, you can say in another word. So that was named as Shiri. Whereas on the other side, rather than constructing a new garrison town, the oldest of the 4 cities of Delhi, that is Delhi, Kunha, was emptied of its resident and the soldiers garrisoned there. The resident of the old city were sent to the capital of Daulatabad in south. So here what does the Muhammad Tughlaq done? Instead of constructing the garrison town, he has emptied the oldest Delhis, the cities of oldest Delhi, and he asked the people to move to the capital of Daulatabad. In past time it was being known as Devgiri, to the south of the Delhi. So what happened while traveling from Delhi to Maharashtra? Daulatabad was located in the Maharashtra. So from Delhi to Maharashtra, when they were traveling, at that time no vehicles were there, on foot they have to move. So they were facing many of the problem like the climates and even many of the diseases and this long journey. This was the hectic thing for the common people to just move from one place to another. So this was being done, this kind of strategy was being taken, step taken by the Muhammad Tughlaq. So instead of making garrison town, he has emptied the cities of Delhi, oldest cities of Delhi, asked every people to move, each of the people who were staying there to move to the Daulatabad in the south. Now thirdly, the soldiers had to be fed. This was done through the produce collected as tax from the lands between the Ganga and Yamuna. Tax was fixed at 50% of the peasants' yield. So soldier is not going to work in empty stomach. So they has to be fed. So how it was being done? The Alauddin Khalji used to collect the tax from the lands, and from which land? The land between the Ganga and Yamuna, that is called as Daub. So how much tax was being collected? 50% of the tax was collected from the peasant. Whatever they have produced, that 50% he was taking as a tax, the produce, to fed the soldiers of Alauddin Khalji. Now whereas you can see the third point over here. The produce from the same area was collected as tax to feed the army, but to meet the need of the large number of soldiers, the Sultan levied additional taxes. This coincided with famine in the area. Now here what he has done, he was collecting the tax from the same area to feed the army, but Alauddin Khalji has collected taxes from not from the same area. He was collecting tax from the distant region where the produce was more, and here he was collecting, Muhammad bin Tughlaq was collecting the tax from the same area. Now as a produce he was collecting the taxes, and nextly he was collecting the taxes in the cash also. So two-way taxes was being collected by the Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So what happened? The peasants were not getting any kind of profit, because whatever they were producing, that was taken as a taxes from the ruler. Then second time they have to pay taxes in the cash, because Muhammad bin Tughlaq was paying the soldier salary as in cash. That we will learn in the next point. So here, because he was leaving two-way taxes, what was the result of that? This region faced famine. So many of the peasants used to just leave that places, and they were moving to the another cities. So this was a failure thing. Again, you can see the fourth point. In Alauddin Khalji's to the left hand side, the soldier had to be paid. Alauddin chose to pay his soldiers' salary in cash rather than iktas. The soldiers would buy their supplies from merchants in Delhi, and it was thus feared that merchants would raise their prices. To stop this, Alauddin controlled the prices of goods in Delhi. Prices were carefully surveyed by the officers, and the merchants who did not sell at the prescribed rates were punished. So here soldiers were paid. So Alauddin has chose to pay his soldiers in cash, salary as in cash, not in the form of iktas. We have learned about the ikta system previously. They used to give iktas to the military commander, and they used to give the soldiers the number of soldiers, and they are only collecting taxes and paying the salary to the soldiers. But here Alauddin Khalji was directly paying the salary to the soldiers instead of iktas. Iktas were not given to them. Now soldier, what could they done with this salary? They could purchase whatever thing or whatever supply is being brought by the merchants in the Delhi. But later on, Alauddin Khalji felt that merchant would increase their prices of the commodities or goods whatever they are bringing or supplying. So to stop this kind of thing, he prescribed a price list for all the goods, and it has to be followed. If any of the merchant who is not following the price list which is being prescribed by the state or the ruler, he could be punished. The merchants could be punished. So he has protected his soldiers by this kind of exploitation. Muhammad Tughlaq. Here Muhammad Tughlaq also paid his soldier cash salary, but instead of controlling prices, he used a token currency. Now somewhat like present day paper currency, but made out of cheap metal, not gold and silver. People in the 14th century did not trust these coins. They were very smart. They saved their gold and silver coins and paid all their taxes to the state with token currency. This cheap currency could also be counterfeited easily. Now during the reign of the Muhammad Tughlaq, he also paid the soldier in cash only, but instead of controlling prices like Alauddin Khalji has done, he has used a token currency. So by this token currency, the soldier can purchase anything from the market as per the merchant's rate. Now what happened? Token currency was made up of cheap metals. It was not made up of the silver and gold, because silver and gold was the shiny and as well as valuable metal at that time, and every merchants were trusting on that kind of metal. They were not trusting in the cheap metal. In the 14th century they used to just trust the gold and silver. They were not trusting the metal coin which was being introduced by the Muhammad Tughlaq. So what does they did? So instead of just exchanging the cheap metal with the silver or gold, they saved that silver and gold coins and paid their old taxes with the cheap metal to the rulers. So taxes which was being paid to the rulers, they paid with the cheap metal. So it is not used for the ruler also. This cheap metal was not working anywhere. Everyone were preferring the gold and silver. So what happened? The Muhammad Tughlaq's treasure slowly and steadily it declined. See the fifth point. Alauddin administrative measures were quite successful, and chronicler praised his reign for its cheap prices and efficient supplies of goods in the market. He successfully withstood the threat of the Mongol invasion. So here Alauddin administrative measures were praised by the chroniclers. They used to write down about him by praising him, because whatever the measure he has taken to protect his reign, it was very efficient and very successful. And even he has protected the region, the soldiers also. He has looked after each and everything very efficiently, and Mongol attack was also been seen and protected in every manner. So whatever the administrative measure he has taken, that was considered as efficient and successful one. He was a good, or you can consider it as best ruler. Whereas about Muhammad bin Tughlaq, administrative measures were a failure. His campaign into Kashmir was a disaster. He then gave up his plans to invade Transoxania and disbanded his large army. Meanwhile, his administrative measure created complications. The shifting of the people to Daulatabad was resented. The raising of taxes and famine in the Ganga-Yamuna belt led to widespread rebellion, and finally the token currency had to be recalled. So here whatever the administrative measure was taken by Muhammad Tughlaq was considered as the complete failure. So he was considered as a wise fool, because he was very wise, he was brilliant, but the measures whatever he has taken, it was completely failure. So what was there? The measures he has taken to invade the Transoxania, the attack on the Transoxania, and the complication of the shifting people from Delhi to Daulatabad. Later on, he recalled the people from Daulatabad to Delhi again to settle down there. So this was the failure step he has taken, and the taxes what he has raised and collected, two kinds of taxes what he has collected, that led to an famine, and because of that the peasant rebelled against him. And finally the token currency measure what he has taken, that all measures was complete failure. So here you can say the Alauddin Khalji was an successful administrator or a ruler, whereas the Muhammad Tughlaq, whatever the measures he has taken, it was complete failure. In this list of Muhammad Tughlaq's failure, we sometimes forget that for the first time in the history of Sultanate, a Delhi Sultan planned a campaign to capture Mongol territory. Unlike Alauddin's defensive measure, Muhammad Tughlaq's measure were conceived a part of military offensive against the Mongols. This I have told in starting only, that Muhammad Tughlaq was very powerful and very daring that he just planned the attack on the Transoxania against the Mongols. But Alauddin Khalji has taken only the defensive measure. So whether the Muhammad Tughlaq's all measures what he has, or all the steps what he has taken, it was complete failure. But on the other side of the point, he has planned to attack on the Mongols. So that was the very great thing about him. He was very challenging or daring person who has taken a step forward like this. The Sultanate in the 15th and 16th century. After the Tughlaqs, the Sayyid and the Lodi dynasty ruled over Delhi and Agra until 1526. So these were the two rulers from Sayyid and the Lodi dynasty. These were the last dynasty from the Sultanate or Delhi Sultans. By this time, Jaunpur, Bengal, Malwa, Gujarat, Rajasthan and the entire South India had independent rulers also established along with new ruling groups like Afghans and Rajput. So as I said, the Sultanate period is slowly and steadily ending or declining. The other small rulers and in different region, the independent rulers started establishing their kingdom, and mainly these ruling groups were from Afghans and the Rajputs. Some of these states, through small, were powerful and extremely well administered. Afghan has ruled for shorter period of time, but you can talk about the Rajputs. They were most powerful rulers that we are going to learn in the next chapter. Sher Shah Suri or Sur, he has ruled from 1540 to 1545. He was a ruler from Bengal who managed a small territory in Bihar, later challenged and defeated the Mughal emperor, that is Humayun, in two wars, that is 1530 to 1540 and nextly in 1555 to 1556. So he has defeated, because after the Delhi Sultan, who was the next rulers who are going to come into power, that was the Mughal emperor Humayun. From there it was going to be started. So Sher Shah Suri has defeated the Humayun, Mughal emperor. Sher Shah captured Delhi and established his own dynasty. Although the Suri dynasty ruled for only 15 years, that is between 1540 to 1555, it introduced administration that borrowed elements from the Alauddin Khalji and made them more efficient. So the administrative measure which was being followed by the Alauddin Khalji, so who has taken the idea, the Sher Shah Suri has taken that administrative measure to rule on Delhi. Shah's administration became a model for later emperors for consolidating their empire, like the great emperor. So the Sher Shah's idea was taken by the Akbar, the great Akbar, who has ruled from 1556 to 1605 when he consolidated the Mughal empire. So Alauddin's administrative measure was being taken by Sher Shah Suri. His ideas model was being copied by or taken by the Emperor Akbar. So here your textbook chapter number 3 ends. I will send the textual solution videos separately. If you are having any doubt, feel free to ask. From tomorrow onwards we are going to start a new chapter. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you.